Donald Trump has said a lot of unhinged things this campaign season, but tonight at a Turning Point USA event just down the street from Mar-a-Lago, where the focus was on religion and faith, he unloaded a series of nasty attacks on Kamala Harris, and he made his most dictatorial threat yet against our democracy. I'm going to show you guys highlights from the night, and make sure you stay all the way to the end because the last clip I show you is going mega viral on the internet right now. Trump started out the night by going right after Kamala Harris. In regards to the border, he claimed that the Biden administration was a total failure, and Kamala was part of that. Listen to this pathetic insult he gives Kamala.
It was so bad, and they pretended it was good, and they're doing the same thing with her. She was a bum 3 weeks ago. She was a bum, a failed vice president in a failed administration.
Boy, if Kamala Harris is a bum, the accomplished vice president, who was a senator from California, attorney general, and a district attorney, then what in the world does that make somebody like Donald Trump? Bottom of the barrel stuff. But Donald Trump didn't stop there. He wanted to get into a little bit of making fun of her name. And we know exactly what this is a dog whistle for.
Radical, liberal, Kamala Harris gets in. And by the way, there are numerous ways of saying her name. They were explaining to me, you can say Kamala, you can say Kamala. I said, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what I say. I couldn't care less if I mispronounce it or not. I couldn't care less. Some people think I mispronounce it on purpose, but actually I've heard it said about 7 different ways. There are a lot of ways.
Actually, there's only 2 ways to pronounce it, the right way and the wrong way. But we know exactly what Donald Trump is up to when he talks like this. And speaking of pronouncing words, Donald Trump seemed to run into some cognitive problems tonight because he couldn't pronounce a particular word. Watch this.
And that means defeating Kamala Harris in a landslide.
Well, at least he pronounced Kamala's name right, so he's got that going for him. But this is where Trump started to get real nasty. Watch what he says about Kamala's thoughts on Jewish people.
2 days ago, she refused to attend the speech in Congress of the Prime Minister of Israel. She said, oh, I can't make it. There was just a small group of people, but they couldn't make it because that's her original thought. That's where she comes from. She doesn't like Jewish people. She doesn't like Israel.
Kamala Harris is married to a Jewish man, Doug Emhoff, so I think it's safe to say that she doesn't hate Jewish people. And as far as skipping the speech by Benjamin Netanyahu to Congress, a lot of people skipped that, including Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance. It was just a political stunt by Netanyahu. Next, Donald Trump tried to bring up the failed talking point that it was rhetoric on the left that led to the assassination attempt against him just a couple of weeks ago.
They say, oh, he is not for democracy. I took a bullet for democracy. He didn't. And I might have taken it because of their rhetoric. I might have taken it because of their rhetoric. Who knows?
Well, what we do know is that the troubled young man who fired off shots at Donald Trump was a registered Republican who lived in a conservative household. So I don't think it had anything to do with rhetoric on the left. And Donald Trump saying he took a bullet for democracy is just a wild thing coming out of that man's mouth. He's done everything in his power to attack our democracy and undermine the institutions that hold it up. It wasn't that long ago that Donald Trump admitted he would be a dictator on day 1.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day 1.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day 1.
Meaning?
I want to close the border, and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not retribution.
I'm going to be, you know, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day 1. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator, okay?
You can just see the look on Hannity's face that he knows Trump just tanked his campaign and royally messed up, and that Democrats will play that clip over and over again all the way up until the November election. And that brings us to the craziest moment of the night, where Donald Trump decided to let everybody know exactly what he'll do if he gets back in that White House.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Just vote this time and you'll never have to do it again? We'll fix it so good that you don't have to vote? These guys aren't even trying to hide it. Donald Trump doesn't care about our democracy. And here he is just spelling it out for the audience. I will fix things so that you don't have to worry about this. This guy is getting more and more desperate. He knows the walls are closing in. They've had a whole strategy to go after Joe Biden for the last couple of years. It's everything from Congress doing investigations to Trump running his mouth about nonsense, Elon Musk and his bots on Twitter. Who knows what the extent of the campaign against Joe Biden was? But now that Joe Biden's out and Kamala's in, the rug has been pulled out from under them, and these Republicans are caught flat-footed. With 100 days to go until the election, they've got no strategy to win. So they are in absolute panic mode right now. They know that if Donald Trump loses, he could end up in prison. And that's because Kamala Harris will allow Jack Smith to continue his criminal trials against Donald Trump. If Donald Trump wins, he will dismiss those charges against him, and the state prosecutors will struggle to move forward with their cases as long as Donald Trump is in the White House. And guess what? Donald Trump doesn't plan on leaving the White House this time. So let's take these guys seriously. We have a lot of energy on our side right now. Sign up to volunteer and knock some doors for Kamala Harris. Give a few bucks to the campaign if you can. It all makes a huge difference. We're going to need all hands on deck to defeat these guys in November.